Hello, everybody. There we go. Right one. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming back tonight to the Pigsty. We are joined tonight with Stephen. I would say something slightly different tonight, but sure, there's never anything really said here on this channel. We just fucking watching an old video the other day, and it's like, I just talk shite and invite other people on to talk shite. And I was right then, and I'm going to fucking stick with that. Junkshop, I've just sent you the link on Twitter. If you still want to join, it's just going to be sort of an update on if anyone's been following me on Twitter and what sort of happened and stuff like that. I got out of hospital today, as we can all see. The wee girl hit me between the legs, and it turns out it wasn't actually that. She just aggravated a urinary tract infection from hell, basically. And it got down where it shouldn't have been. And yeah, in and out of hospital, 16 fucking hours in A&E. Long old story. It's all up on fucking Twitter. And but yeah, as I say, got out of hospital today. And tomorrow morning, if anyone else did see on Twitter, a good friend of mine, Harry, do apologise, I'll probably cry as the stream goes along. But good friend of mine did pass away on Saturday while I was at the hospital. The funeral's in the morning. So yeah, I just wanted to, it gives, now that all that's over, all I can think about is that and tomorrow and hanging out with friends, you know, sitting down and, you know, I sort of wanted to go down the route of maybe, I was having a conversation with Dave over in England, if anyone's over in England, no dogs over in England, and he died on Saturday. We have 2 days of a wake, maybe 3 at the most, and then we put them in the ground. Are you the same in the south, Stephen?
Yeah.
Yeah, no fucking about.
Yeah. Yeah, if they die on Monday, they're dead and buried by Friday.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's at the absolute latest. You know, over in England, it's weeks.
Yeah. But like, what I mean is that, like, you know, long dead and buried, like, and you know what I mean. Like, it's probably a day. So if they die on Monday, they're buried on the Thursday. So we don't really get much of a mourning period over here for some reason. We've just decided that as a concept.
It's not, I don't see it as not of a mourning period. And again, I get fucking made fun of this, and it was like, obviously your Irish was the answer. Crafty, if you want in, hit me up on Discord. I'll send you a link there.
Crafty's here.
Junkshop joined us. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button.
How you doing?
Crafty on there. Hello, Junkshop. Thank you very much for joining. Oh, did we get matching seats? Is yours purple?
Mine is purple.
Yes. And now, tip for you, man. This may actually work for you as well. Do you see this bit? That's the bit for the bottom, and you see the bit that you have for here. I put it down there, and I found that actually more comfortable.
Now
I can see that,
because this here is better for head support, and the other one I found when it was down at the bottom, as much as it kept your posture perfect, it was very sore on the back after a while. You know, a gaming seat's not actually designed for posture. It's just designed to look like a fucking gaming chair. They're all made by the same company. Anyway, thank you very much for joining.
Absolutely, glad to be here. Is the horrible echo me?
Yes. I don't hear an echo, and I don't think Stephen has.
Yeah, I don't hear any sort of an echo at all.
Me and Stephen were hanging out for a half hour before, so yeah, it's all you, man. I do apologise. Who have we got? We've got Europa Bumhole. We've got Sadie. Our Sandy. Fuck me. Why do I keep calling her? Fuck. I'm gonna get stabbed. Sandy is here. Maverick. We've got Ox. We've got Dog. If anyone wants to join us, and Geo's here too. If anyone wants to join us, just give me a shout, tag me in the chat, and we'll get you in. As I was saying to Junkshop earlier, you know, he was worried that he might be a wee bit, hi Dargendorp, a wee bit, have a few drinks and all to say, but Harry was, as the years went along, Harry was, if anyone doesn't know, is the child's grandfather, would be the child's mother's father. So I've known Harry about 5 years, and still remain friends. Still remained if anyone knows how me and her mother co-parent, once a month I would still go down to their family house. She lives with the mother and father, and I would still go down and stay. There's a spare room, and we get to spend time as a family, so to speak, in front of Elena, you know. And it's for the child. We still get on, obviously, you know. We wind each other up and stuff. Stephen will know what I mean with an Irish relationship, like, you know. But I don't sleep, obviously, as people know, and her father was a bad insomniac, especially towards the end of the years. He couldn't get much sleep because of the restless leg syndrome. He had epilepsy. You know, he was diabetic. He had a lot of things wrong with him. He had 42 tablets a day the man was taking, you know, and he would be up late at night, and me and him would just sit up to 4 and 5 in the morning. You know, we maintained a friendship even after me and his daughter broke up, and yeah. I really liked Harry. He was always accepting. He you know, he was always nice. And even after the breakup, as I say, he always made the effort. He was always... Nothing for me and him changed, even though me and his daughter were not together anymore, if you understand what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stephen, stop fucking gaming.
I'm actually not right at the very, very present moment in time.
Spartan, just sort of an update on my balls and about the funeral tomorrow and how we cope with death and things like that. So if you're free, Spartan, Christian point of view would be very good as well. You know, tag me, let me know, and I'll send you a link on Twitter. But yeah, just sort of as it's happened, as I said, it's best thing for me sort of would be I've been through the whole mad crying stage where I've sat and just cried for fucking 2 hours over it, you know, and you can't talk and can't say his name and shit like that there. It's like and sort of out then it's out there, you know, and I don't know, I'm struggling now just to it's difficult, but at the same time I'm now at that point where it's better to just talk about it and hang with people and just talk shit and you know, just be comfortable. Just, I don't know. That's how I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I what? How do people grieve? This is what I'm asking. This is what the talk's about. You know, Junkshop, say for talk's sake you lost your father-in-law. Well, okay, say for talk's sake you lost an older friend that you were friendly with. I don't know what you're like with Julie's dad. You lost your father-in-law? Yes! He's an asshole.
No, my father-in-law is delightful. But I don't emotion all that well.
Yeah.
I mostly just repress. And then at some point it falls through the bottom like a gravity event and explodes in thunderous rage 15 years later when it's completely unrelated. So I grieve very functionally. It's the anything else that's problematic.
Yeah. No, as I say, I get it at the moment when you find out, you know, in the moment there, and then actually I was worse in my reaction after having the conversation with him than I was when I found out that he'd passed. When I found out he was passed, I was in the process of my feet in the air on a two fucking plastic seats had pushed together to lie down because I'm swollen and I'm 16 hours in fucking A&E and I'm not happy, you know. But when he had the conversation, he rang me. His daughter was there, and she rang me, and we got about 70 seconds on the phone. You know, he's like, I says to him, I was like, you know how I feel about you, Harry? And he was like, I do, Robbie. And I was like, yeah, you're a grumpy old cunt. And then he started to laugh, and then he ran out of breath, which actually shortened the conversation so much, you know, and give a bit of banter back and forth, and handed the phone back over, and just before the end of it, he was like, make sure, tell Robbie he's a fucking cunt too. So, you know, a bit of banter, we both laughed, it was good. Now that was a hard fucking 2 hours after that, like, you know, that particular time, because he did also say to me, you know, have a nice life, Robbie, this is it, you know, I'm at the end, appreciate you and stuff like that there. And yeah, he was very fucking nice about it, like but you know, hearing stuff like that and knowing that that's literally the last time that you're going to hear that person, you know, speak. And as I say, with the COVID and stuff, thanks Crafty for joining. With the COVID and stuff at the minute, I didn't get to see him when I was up picking the child up or anything like that. There was no visitors allowed except immediate family, you know, and the call is all I had. So there was no way I was missing the funeral from the moment I arrived at the hospital in Craigavon, and I was like, how long is this going to take? Because I'm leaving Monday night, Tuesday morning at the earliest. Well, we don't know, Mr. McCutcheon. I was like, no, I'm not asking permission. I'm letting you know that this is happening, you know. But,
yes, I said I will be going.
Yeah.
Not when may I go, but I will be going.
Yeah. And no, well, they did sort of push the scan forward and stuff like that. There, not that the NHS is very fast. It does what it needs to do, and it does a very good job when you get to the end. The A&E departments at some stages, like there was 30 people there and 2 doctors on a Saturday night with drunk people coming in. And at one stage, I could hear a guy down in the bottom corner screaming at the top of his voice that he was drunk because he'd taken too much coke. And another drunk man at about 50 or 60. And another man at about 50 or 60 was just hands in the pockets, casually walking up through the corridor like this in the actual A&E department when I was just sitting in it. And a nurse came over and grabbed him and was like, "Where are you going?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm leaving. I've been waiting too long. I'm just going to go home." And she was like, "You can't leave. Like, you can't leave." And he was like, "No, go home." So she walked him back down. And then she went back to doing what she was doing. And I watched him. And he was just like... And he walked past me, and he walked on out the door, and he's like, "See you later," and he just fucking left anyway, like, you know. Crafty, hi, how are you?
What's the crack? May I be the first because nobody else has to offer my condolences because that's shit.
Well, people have, and it's like saying thoughts and prayers.
Not on the fucking screen. No, I know. I went through something very, very similar back in January when we lost my aunt. She had been on a ventilator for a couple of weeks, but her daughter, so my aunt was a nurse. She came out of retirement to help out with the pandemic, and both her and her daughter ended up seriously ill. And so it was a weird thing because we were waiting for one of them to hopefully pull through or end, so that we could turn off the machine for the other.
Yeah.
That's how bad it got, especially for my aunt. And it wasn't a fun conversation. And it was over Zoom as well, so we couldn't even be there. The whole family kind of jumped in and helped support my cousin. She had to make the call. Not one of us got to go to her funeral. She was taken out straight to the crematorium, and we were given the urn.
Well, Harry now he's getting cremated on Wednesday, and that'll just be for immediate family. And when I say immediate family, like, I'm driving up early in the morning, not staying because the house is bunged out. She is a big Irish family. Lots of fucking... Loads of girls too. I think I worked it out one day. It's like a 70% ratio of women in her family. Whatever's going on with the genes there. Like, but maybe all the men run away. I don't know. Strong Irish women. Strong Catholic Irish women as well. I've had a few arguments with aunties and cousins and stuff like that. And there's an entire house full of them. So they're having the family one. The Belfast one, they feel is very shit. And I've been in the Belfast one, and I've been in the one in Dublin as well. There's one in Cavan I didn't know about, and they're going to it. The one in Dublin is very religious, but not religious as in it's super religious. It's laid out as in like a religious pews and things like that, you know, and it's got the sort of altar at the top, but there's not fucking crosses everywhere and shit like that. Have you seen the graves outside, Crafty? Have you ever been to that one? Not being racial stereotypes here, but the gypsy graves that are like 50 and 60,000 pounds worth of marble and 15 foot high, like.
In Dublin?
I think it's Dublin, the crematorium in Dublin.
There's 3.
Okay, the one just off the M50, that would be closer to the north.
That would be the one by Glasnevin. That's where my uncle was brought. So my uncle passed away. He was
they're going to Cavan anyway.
Yeah, my uncle passed away just before the pandemic, actually, after 18 months of struggling with cancer. So yeah, that's where he was brought because he was living out the north side.
I only got it wrong once, Dargendorp. I made sure to get it right the second time. Titan is asking the actual status of my ball. My ball itself is fine, Titan. It's the pipes and the tubes around it are very swollen. If you were looking at size statement, it's probably about 2.5 times the size of the other one. So it's slightly uncomfortable, but at least I can walk and not in pain anymore. On Friday and Saturday, it was excruciating, like excruciatingly sore. But yeah, didn't take any painkillers because I was with the child and I didn't want to fucking pass out while looking after a 4-year-old who has a bad habit of going into the kitchen and just taking a kitchen knife that's maybe that long out to cut the top off a strawberry. Can't leave a child alone. So, oh, she's really good at it. She's very good with knife safety, man. I've taught her knife safety. She knows. But no sleeping. So, but got painkillers when I got to the hospital. Got better. You've heard the story. I've now said it 3 times. Anyone hasn't seen, if anyone in the chat can link the stream from Dave's last night, if anyone hasn't seen it. It was just, it's a Quiplash stream. Think Manda's Love Box, but they replace all the Love Box answers with Robbie's Nuts. It was very, very funny. It was good fun. 2.5 hours. I did bring my laptop with me, so I got to join. So live on the laptop from this echoey stairwell. It was fun.
The most echoey stairwell in the history of architecture.
What, Stephen?
I was just going to say, how did the hospital staff feel about you just fucking randomly streaming? You know what I mean?
I went up. The guy was quite funny, as I mentioned in one of the tweets when I told him I was going out for some fresh air, and I did air quotes and everything as well. Like, and he was like, right, well, because it was the first time I'd left the ward since being brought up there, and he was like, well, if you're under my care and you're not supposed to be smoking on the actual premises at all. He says, if you get lost or anything happens to you when you're out of here, it's on my head. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, we're on the 4th floor. The elevators are right outside the door. I can't go wrong. And he was like, well, if you go wrong, I'm going to inject you in the ass again in the other fucking cheek. I was like, right, Jesus Christ. And it's one of them in the muscular injections. If anyone's ever had one of them before, think like a million worms made of metal boring through what felt like my bone. It was worse than the fucking ball.
I haven't had one. I haven't had one, but I've had to give something similar to a goat, so I know the needles that you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's from Philippines, Filipino, or he is Filipino, and but his English is great. He's over here like 10 years or something, and he says to me, "I have to give it to you anally." So I was like, right, fine, whatever, and thought I meant, like a suppository, that sort of way. Like, I was like, right, grand. Then he took out the needle and he was like, no, it's a needle. And he says, I can give it to you in your arm or I can give it to you in your ass, but it's going to be sore. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I've decent enough tolerance for pain, man. I have no problems with needles whatsoever. Didn't realize it.
And then you see this one.
Yeah, didn't realize it was an intermuscular injection, And he injected me, and I was like, man, see, look, don't mind needles. And he went, oh, not yet. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh man, I'm up off the seat and everything. People in the ward are like, you okay? Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Oh man, it was.
Question. Do you have that doctor's name? Because I would really like to send him some whiskey for doing that.
That was Fabio. Or sorry, not Fabio. I'm looking at the chat. That his name was Ronnie. He works in urology, and I'll tell you the hospital afterwards. I tagged him on Twitter, told him he was very funny. Now, he came over to me and he was like, look, the doctor has, he's a nurse, he was the head nurse, I think, for the night. And he was like, the doctor has asked me to give you this injection this way. And I've asked him to give you an IV. Like, I've got the IV, it was in my arm and all sitting ready. And like I've said to him, we can do it the other way because this is going to hurt. And he was like, no, the doctor said you need it this way. And I was like, right, well, if the doctor said it, that's fine. Did no idea.
How much did you piss off the doctor? What did you do?
Not go and get seen and why it got as bad as it was, probably. I don't know. He just didn't like me. Yeah. He really, no. That was not nice. It was not nice. But the things that medical science can do, I feel a whole lot better. I wouldn't say I instantly felt better. That pain hung about for half an hour. And to be desperately honest, the exact spot where he injected me, my ass is still sensitive there. Like, it's still, poor wee bum.
Oh, it'll be sensitive for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It was fucking, I literally was sitting there. The old man in bed beside me popped his head in around the corner and was like, Robbie, are you all right? Do you want me to call a nurse? And I'm like, no, I'll be fine. I'm all right. For like 20 minutes, it was just randomly nice, quiet hospital, and then all you would hear is "fuck, what the." Oh, but yeah, I think that answers your question, Titan. Hopefully.
Or just poses more questions.
Knock yourself out. I've no problem. Like, what was it? I think it was Dave or Manda asked me earlier today. It was, so Robbie, how many people have actually seen your balls in the last 2 days? And I think it's closing up.
2 days, 2 years. 2 days? How about 2 years?
No, in this last
actually,
in this last 2 days, with everybody having to look at my balls and stuff, it's at least 20 now. Like.
We can change that if I just put something into the chat.
There's no looking at that.
You know what I'm talking about.
The first time when I was in A&E, they did the triage, and the triage is more of just a talking, and you know, we're just getting your details before the doctor sees you, and then you have to go and sit for fucking hours till the doctor sees you. And my doctor was actually called Dr. Cookie. It was spelled Cukki, but they pronounced it Cookie, which I thought was just fucking brilliant. But female doctor, not that I minded, I don't give a shit. And she called me in, and she's like, right, jump up in the bed and we'll get the examination done. And before I was like, right, drop the wags, about to jump up onto the bed. And she's like, I have to go get a chaperone. And I was like, right, pull them back up again and I'll wait. Okay. Doesn't matter, you've seen them now, right? Had to go and get a chaperone to make sure everything's okay, you know? Which is proper order and stuff like that there. You know, I generally don't give a fuck. You're the doctor. You're supposed to, like, you know, look at me. Fix me, please. This is not normal. This is not normal. I don't care. Bring the fucking whole bloody waiting room in. Just, if you can fix it, fix it. Oh, man, no. Stop laughing at me, Junkshop.
Well, stop telling it so fucking funny then. Damn.
This is the shit that does be happening, right? You want to hear now a funny one? This every disaster that could have went wrong did go wrong. I'd asked a couple of times as the night had went on for painkillers. Because they were actually working. Whenever I got the cocodamol at the start, they did take the edge off really, really well. You know, it was still sore, but it wasn't like this. I'm just sitting there with a throbbing pain rather than keeled over and unable to walk. And I asked one of the nurses for 2 tablets. I said, can you get me some cocodamol? She was like, right, no bother. And she fucked off and she was doing her thing. Busy night, Saturday night, as I say. I think it was about 45 minutes later, I went and asked again. Same nurse, and she seen me as I was at the door, you know, to the A&E. I didn't want to walk in and bother them and just walk straight up to them while they were doing their job, you know. So I stood at the door for 10 minutes until she noticed me and was like, hello? And she just went, oh, fuck. Yes, cocodamol, coming now. I waited an hour, 20 minutes. Right? Didn't get no cocodamol. In total, an hour and a half before, and another reminder before I got the tablets. And then when they were waiting on me to get into the ambulance, they had to transfer me from that hospital to another hospital because they didn't have the specialist. And I drove there in my car, and they would not let me drive to the other hospital because I was 1 degree over my temperature. So I was not 37 degrees, I was 38. So I'm not allowed to leave, right? And I've had, like, I think an 8 milligram cocodamol 3 or 4 times, which is paracetamol and codeine. It's piss over here. Yes, Stephen, you would agree, Crafty? Like an 8 milligram cocodamol. It's, you know, it's not a very strong painkiller.
No.
It's not like you can't work machinery or anything like that, you know. And I was like, I'll just drive. And she's like, no, we're ordering you an ambulance. It'll be about 40 minutes to an hour. And I was like, what the fuck do I do in the car?
That.
You're going to leave my car here, and I'm going to be stuck in fucking the other hospital, which is maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes from my mum's. I was like, who's going to pay for my taxi back here to get the car? I was like, you're going to get an ambulance to take me back here? She was like, no, can't do that. And I says, right, well, how about this? I'll drive and you get an ambulance driver to sit with me. And then when we get to the other hospital, he can jump on an ambulance and get an ambulance back up here. And she's like, no, we can't spare an ambulance driver. I goes, you can't spare an ambulance driver? You're putting 2 in an ambulance to drive me when I don't need to. You know, you're going to send 2 ambulance drivers in an ambulance. Like, it just made no sense. So eventually I was like, right, it's coming. It's going to be 40 minutes to an hour. Here's my keys. My mum will come in the morning. This is 6 in the morning, right? So they take my keys and they put them in the safe. And at 7 o'clock or whatever it was, they were doing the shift change. No, before this even happened, this is what the funny thing is. When I'm giving them the keys Do you know who said that they would remember to tell the morning staff about the keys in the safe because my mum would be coming at 9 after they'd done the shift change? The woman who forgot about the fucking cocodamol.
Forgot about the
There's 4 nurses there, including the woman in charge of the ward and the guy behind the security fella doing the safe and all. And she's like, look, when we do shift change, I will definitely remember to remind the morning staff. And I just leaned over and tapped her on the shoulder and I went, you forgot for 90 minutes that I needed just 2 tablets. It was just like, fuck off. So then at 9 o'clock in the morning, I still hadn't got an ambulance. So this is like 3 hours later, still no ambulance. Went and asked, and they told me that it's going to be 2 hours. Now, I was talking to a nurse after that. They have to say 2 hours because it's a 2-hour window. No matter what time you fucking ask, they're just going to tell you it's going to be 2 hours. So I was like, I'm not waiting another fucking 2 hours. So I rang my mum, and I says to my mum, ring me back in 20 minutes, tell me you're in the car park. So I went in and I told them, my ma's awake now. My ma's taking me to Craigavon. Can I have my keys, please? So I went and got my keys and I got my paperwork. My ma rang me on my phone and I was like, you're in the car park? Yeah, I'm out in the car park. No bother, see you now. Walked out, got my own car and drove to fucking the second hospital myself.
Yep. That's the way to do it. Unfortunately, fucking red tape.
Oh, but because I arrived, right, on my own and not brought by the ambulance drivers, I went to
You're straight back into the A&E.
Back into the A&E reception. And no, I have a big wad of paperwork. Like, I have a big wad of paperwork and there's a bed here. This is why I'm here. They had to wait for most of the night till there was a bed available and then wait for the ambulance to take me there. And they'd kept the bed. There is a bed for me in this department. This is why I'm being sent here. And I'm at the reception. I was like, paperwork? Need it? Nope. Not taking your paperwork. It's not my job to take paperwork. And they made me sit for another hour and go through another 3-hour session and another COVID test and all of that. And after, I think, about 70 minutes or something, Robbie McCutcheon, fucking doxing myself. Robbie, whatever it was, come out and went. And I went in and they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. You should have got straight ahead. You should have been brought in and skipped all the triage and stuff. And I was like, I know. Been telling them out there for...
no shit, Sherlock.
For a while. So she was like, here, just sit down in the wheelchair here and we'll get you a porter to take you up to your room. And I was like, great. About 15, 20 minutes later, another nurse come over and she was like, are you okay there? And I says, I'm just waiting on a porter to take me up to my room. And she was like, and who wrote you in, logged you in, whoever it was? I says, the nurse in the red top, because there wasn't that many in the red top, you know. And she was like, whatever her name was, we'll call her Julie. And she was like, oh, well, Julie? Oh, I haven't seen Julie. Where's Julie? She in her lunch, did she go home? They're running around looking for fucking Julie, trying to find out what the fuck they're supposed to do with me, right? And then another nurse comes over and she goes, I can't find your paperwork. And I was like, Julie left it in the back of the wheelchair. It's here. Takes it out. She's like, right, you're supposed to go to urology. And then the porter's standing there. There's 3 other nurses standing there and they're all going, where's Julie? I think Julie went home. Did her shift end? Did Julie go home? I don't know. Where's Julie? And the porter's just like, I'm going to take him to urology and they can sort it out. So just
Yeah.
way on up. It took about 30 minutes for them to find out who, they knew who I was. They were expecting me, but they didn't know why. So then they had to get in contact with the doctor, and then he was all the paperwork. Yeah, so it was just a long ass day, like. Long ass. I think in total it was maybe 21 hours from I went in till I was actually admitted. And I got to lie down in bed. And the vending machines, by the way, in the first hospital that I was in for 16 hours, yeah, they were broke. On 2 floors.
Oh, but of course.
Yeah. So you could
Moral of the story.
You could drink
Moral
water.
of the story. If they offer you the fucking ambulance, take the fucking ambulance.
I did agree to take the ambulance. I was still waiting. I probably still would have been waiting. I probably...
Hang on. Hold on. You were waiting longer without the ambulance than you would have been waiting for the ambulance.
No, what I should have done is get into my fucking car in the first place and drove down and not waited 3.5 hours before I lied to them. Because when I asked them again at that time before I left, as I say, 2 hours, it's going to be another 2 hours. That's the answer you get every fucking time. It could have been 4. It could have been another 6. Ambulances were very busy.
It depends on what's going on. And Saturday night, Saturday, you're just going to be screwed,
Yeah.
Because they also work, I don't know about up there, but down here they also work on a skeleton crew, even though they know it's going to be bloody busy.
I found out when I left there was only 2 doctors and something like 6 nurses. And when I arrived, there was at least 30 people waiting, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. There's 10 actual beds in A&E. So if they're completely full, that's 10 people. There was at least 20 to 25 people out waiting with me as well. So there's another 35 people with 2 doctors and 6 nurses.
And that's not even taken into account if something actually happened, or who's being brought in and out of from with the ambulances, who's coming down from one of the other emergency departments because they don't have space for them.
At 11:15, a handwritten note appeared on the waiting room to the A&E, and it was a handwritten note going, "Waiting time is now minimum 8 hours. We're in a 3-hour situation." And that was put up at 11:15, and I was there from 5:30. And I, at midnight when I went up and was like, "What's going on?" She was like, "Minimum wait's 8 hours," and I was like, "I'm fucking here 8 hours. What the fuck, But yeah, it's just the way it is.
But if you're not instantly going to die, and that's the problem. Like, an emergency for you is not an emergency for medical staff. And so they use that as a way of keeping you waiting and justifying that long waiting time.
And saying that, one of the nurses did say that to me, and I was like, I just turned around and I was like, "No harm to you." When I rang and I was talking to them, I was said that I was made urgent because testes. This is the future of my family. This is very important. This is like. Fuck's sake.
Future of someone's family, someone bleeding out.
I know. Crafty, you don't understand. I know I'm going to say you don't understand, but my goodness, I am not joking you. Swollen to this, oh my God, and 16 hours.
Yeah, that's because there's a lot of blood vessels there. There's a lot of blood vessels there. It doesn't mean that you're actually serious at risk of losing a ball. You're grand.
Genuinely.
Well, yeah, but, okay. So this is what I'm saying, right? It's very, very easy for people to be totally inclusive. People who are not owners of testicles, right? I'm just going to put it as that. It's very, very, very easy for people to assume that it's not a big deal, but it fucking is. You don't know.
When we were younger, right?
You cut yourself shaving, you think you're going to fucking bleed out. It's no.
Crafty. Have you ever seen them straps? Do you know the straps that you would strap stuff down on a roof rack? There's elastic cables and the hooks on the end. Or yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Right. When we were younger, there was a couple of us tied about 4 of them together to make a big ass giant fucking, slingshot sort of thing. And we were testing how stretchy it was, and one of the mates let go, and 4 of them together came right at me and hit me in my fucking spuds, right? And I was bleeding for 2 days, actually passing blood for 2 days, and I went home and walked home a fucking half mile in agony. This, what I felt over the weekend, was worse.
Well, can I just make the point there that this little fucker raised, right? Stephen there, nobody that doesn't own a ball sack understands pain. You fuckers don't have to go through that.
He said don't understand. No. Just to clarify.
You guys.
Straw man him properly.
You guys do not understand what it's like to have that level of pain every fucking month. Just gonna point that out.
I'd feel this every month. You don't feel this every month. I understand the difference of someone flicking your nuts. I don't know. I understand the difference of someone flicking your nuts and cramps and stuff like that. But this was unimaginable. Oh my! And I have a high pain threshold. I generally have a high pain threshold. I had an ingrown toenail and a fucking flip knife, and I performed surgery on myself and hit the bone with the knife and didn't cure. Just went, that's funny. It's grand. But this was. Oh my goodness!
Okay. When you pop out a 10-pound baby, then you fucking tell me about pain.
Oh, no.
Not that I've done it, thank fuck. I've just been in the room when it happened.
All right, yeah.
My poor sister. She had to do it twice.
By saying the females are better because they give birth is exactly the same as what you're accusing me and Stephen of doing. Just saying.
100%, yeah, 100%. It's the exact same, but just the opposite.
Yeah. That's why I laughed when you did it. It's funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. was funny.
I did it intentionally, like.
I was on Knox stream the other day, and they were talking about the AXA and how the Austin atheist experience, all that crowd, make statements and people follow along with it. And he was like, no atheist will tell me who I am. And then about 40 minutes later, he described himself by using the Richard Dawkins scale, and I just burst into stitches laughing. Geez. Well, it came up, it's not like he was using him as an idol or anything, but the scale came up. Someone mentioned it, and he was like, oh, well, if I was on that scale, I would be this. And I just laughed. What are you laughing at? And I was like, well, no atheist will define you, but you just defined yourself by an atheist scale. It was just funny. But,
people are strange.
Dave will be hopping along. What's Turf Wars like? Is the Turf Wars still on? What time is it? They'll be coming along soon. Dave will be along soon. And probably be all. I think there'll be a few extra people along. Did you ever watch that? No.
Turf Wars? No.
Katie Montgomery. Oh, I just see Noxum in the chat. Hi Noxum, thank you for coming by. Inquisitor Baker's here. Inquisitor Bacon is here. We've got an Uncle Jesus real Bible reading. Thank you very much for turning up. Drop me a link in Discord. Good man, Geo.
Yay,
how is everybody?
I'll be jumping off soon because I have work in the morning.
Yeah, I have to get up at technically 6 in the fucking morning. And to get
I have to be in work for 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh dang!
I'm on 12-hour shifts at the moment.
Stephen, this is another example of us being male chauvinistic pigs and how we understand that pain for just owning testicles. But
I'm sure you understand that pain.
My dad works in the store of the place that I work on the main floor for, and I rang the boss this morning, sent him a text message anyway, but he was on the floor, he didn't see it. But my dad arrived this morning, my dad went and told him, and he was like, Robbie, when I was telling Darryl what had happened, he was just like, oh, it's fine, just tell him to keep me updated, it's grand. It's like the pain. He understands the pain of owning testes and getting hit there.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to be honest.
Hello, Jaded. Hi. Thanks for coming. Jump in if you want. If anyone else wants to jump in, just let me know. Geo, I've sent you the thing on CBT. What's CBT? Stephen, are you still gaming?
Seems very familiar to me. Yeah, no.
Whoever the person was that you just named in Turf Wars?
No. I can't say.
I didn't hear the name.
The person who posted it. Europa Bumhole. Europa Bumhole posted it. Rob. Hi, Rob. Rob's a childhood friend. Rob, I don't know if you've seen the story. Oh, man. Oh, no. But, yeah. Thank you very much for coming by, Rob. CBT is a Pornhub category. I bet. That's why it sounds familiar to Steve.
CBT? What's this? What category for what? What is... Okay.
Cocks, bumholes, and triginas.
Well, that is definitely not something that I fucking recognize.
Stephen just heard Pornhub and then just came to life. That's what just happened there.
I wouldn't have put it in such
Stephen's a kinky
binary
fucker,
terms, but however.
Well, I think it was that stream we had on with the person with all their sex toys and everything. Stephen was just sitting there in the corner the entire time going,
yeah, just going, I showed up to the wrong stream.
Oh.
Yeah, because we're all talking about, like, I don't know, like your favorite positions, and my ma's like 20 foot away, and I'm like, but I can't go.
I nearly seen the Irish mommy tonight. She cracked the door open and for a split second, and Stephen was like, on camera.
Yeah.
Hi, Gio.
Hey, what's up?
How's yourself,
Hello,
man?
Gio.
Hi.
As soon as you said that you were on last night, I was like, yeah, because I remembered that there was a lot of questions that I'd answered and only you had picked, and then there was a lot of questions that you'd answered and only I picked. So me and Gio were thinking the same.
Yeah, it was a long night, and the quiplash didn't start until later on. So
yeah, the quiplash was 9:15. Well, the stream started at 9:15. We went pretty much straight into the Quiplash, but it did go till I think it went to like 11:30 or something. It was good fun.
Did you start? I think you guys started off with Quiplash, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was there for the whole thing for the whole show. So yeah.
Yeah, every fucking second question was Robbie's nutsack as the answer. Hello, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hello.
You hear us okay, Sam?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hello, the snake.
It's snake.
The snake is awesome.
How are you, Sam?
The snake.
Not bad. A bit tired today.
I didn't see your message on Twitter. I was going to say, tag me first. I'm watching the live chat more. It's always the way when we're live. So thank you very much for coming, man. It says here you wanted something to say. So I will give the floor to you.
What? Sorry?
You wanted to hop on for a wee bit. I'm saying you had something to say. Would you have you something on the topic?
Oh, I mean, I don't really know that I have anything that immediately comes to mind to contribute, because as soon as you've asked that, everything is drained from my head.
Yeah. No pressure.
No pressure.
Just entertain us all.
Fuck's
No
sake,
pressure.
Monkey jump.
I'm not a monkey, I'm a snake.
Squirm, monkey, out of your box. Monkey again. Geo, I was talking to Stephen earlier. He's got... did you tell Geo about your new computer?
No. No, I haven't
computers are like porn to Geo as well. Geo will...
Oh, right, okay.
Geo will... oh, man. He got the same board as me, but what processor did you get? You got the...
Ryzen 7 5800X.
And he went full blown and got 64 fucking mega or 64 of RAM. Like,
yeah, I see. Yeah, 64 gigs of RAM. GTX 2060 Super. It's fucking it's a ball and ass machine.
Yeah.
Well, that's about what I have. So we're running pretty much on par.
Yeah.
I just changed out to that. Actually, I went from an i7 7700K Intel set, chipset. What was it? The B250? I forget whatever the chipset it was, but the new Windows is not supporting it. Windows 11 is not supporting the processor, and the motherboard doesn't.
That's a whole other fucking... I'd go down that rabbit hole for fucking ages, like fucking ages, right? Well, considering Sam's from the UK, I know his answer already because I was talking to Dave and a few other people in England today. America, what way is it after, like as we were discussing earlier, Gio, if you heard, over here in Ireland, and in England it takes a couple of weeks for someone to get buried, usually cremated, and then over here it's dead, 2 days wake, 3 tops in the ground. What's it like in America?
It's about the same.
2 or 3 days.
It depends on the religion, because some religions have different requirements for what they want to do with the body, so that has to be taken into account. But it's about the same for just a general burial.
Yeah,
it's about the same.
Would you have it in a church, or is it the Americans more like TV and stuff with the funeral home? Like,
no, same thing. Usually happens in a church or a separate.
The wake,
place
the actual wake.
No, the wake is usually held in a special place. That there's little places that hold wakes, where they have the casket, and you go and you view the body. It can be done in a church as well, but it's not done as often in churches here in the U.S. So.
Now here we would have it in the person's home or the person's immediate family.
Yeah, that's rare in the U.S. That happens a lot with some, I think, Jewish denominations more often.
In England, now, I didn't ask Dave that. Would you have that over there, Sam? Do you wake the body in the house?
Not to my awareness. I've only had a couple of relatives die. My granddad's wake we had while he was still alive, because he was not paying for a party that he wasn't going to. and then my stepmom, we had the wake at a nearby football club. But my stepmom's was really weird because we had the turnover for like her dying, and then having the funeral, cremation, and wake. I think it was like a week, which was really quick.
A week is quick? Okay.
For having it kind of all done with and all the celebration of life everyone likes to do and shit finished.
Yeah. Well, generally over here, again, I mentioned the Irish and nobody can pick at us, but it's 2 or 3 days of a week. You get the funeral in. Generally after the funeral, you'll go back to the immediate family's home or something like that, where we maybe have cups of tea and things like that. And then when everybody who's not hanging about, the non-immediate family would leave and there's just the immediate family left. Pub. Everybody going to the pub. Go to the pub. And then the immediate family gets drunk and sits in with a lock-in and sits up all night and just talks about the person, reminisces about the person to the wee hours in the morning. Like.
Have a bit of a sing-song.
Yeah.
It's never a wake without a sing-song.
Yeah. Muted.
What I was saying before I unmuted was I'm sure there's some nuances that are different with Americans, how they, like Christian Americans that follow that kind of doctrine. There are some nuances that are different, but I think it's generally the same, pretty much. What from what you're saying, because I've experienced that throughout my life, the same thing that you're saying that Christians have done. So
the biggest difference would just be the fact that we have it in the house, like.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Like that's strange. It would be strange if it wasn't in a house for me.
Yeah.
Like they actually have signs that are made, and it's like, for people to expect there's gonna be a fuck ton of cars where there's not supposed to be, wake in progress and stuff like this here. Signs to be put on the fucking road. Now there is places we do have funeral homes, don't get me wrong. But
no, see, usually down here, well, for my family anyway, and anyone any wake that I've ever been to, you start out in the house. 9 times out of 10, it's like an afternoon funeral. Like the earliest that you'd have a funeral is 10, but usually it's like 2-3 o'clock.
Yeah, I was expecting.
And so you start. You start out in the house, but you'd start out in the house about 9 o'clock before, and you'd have the casket there and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then what you do is the hearse would come, everyone lines the streets, the hearse comes out of the house, and then everyone follows the hearse and the mourning cars, and then for us usually it's straight back to the pub, and then it's the immediate family then that go back to the house and they back to the house and stay up all night because we're not allowed lock-ins down here anymore.
Sam, I'm just going to put you in the back room for a wee minute. Fabio's just joined in from Italy, so I'd like to get his perspective, and Dave was coming most of the night. Is that okay?
No worries.
Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah, you hang about. If a spot opens, we'll get you back. I think Crafty was saying she's not hanging about too much longer, so
yeah, sure.
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
I have to leave soon.
Fabio.
Hey.
Yeah, you were saying not much difference in Italy.
Yeah, no, it's not too much difference. I think usually there is only a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, just the shortest amount of time possible that you can set up everything, called the funeral home and stuff like that. But no, there is not too much of a difference.
Dave, thank you for coming, and you were shocked. Because Dave said to me when I mentioned to him that Harry had passed away, he was like, well, you've got a couple of weeks then to get shit sorted. I was like, man, the funeral's fucking Tuesday, like.
Yeah.
My mother died before the pandemic, and it was the quickest we could organise a funeral. We literally took the next available date at the one crematorium we have got within 30 miles, and it was 2.5 weeks.
Look up the distance between Londonderry, Legendary, or whatever you want to call it, and Cavan. That's more than 30 minutes. We have only literally 3 in the entire island of Ireland, I do believe, if I'm right. Or maybe 4. Is there one in Shannon?
Is that for cremations?
For cremations, yeah. We have one in Northern Ireland. In all of Northern Ireland, we have Belfast. And then I think the South has maybe 3. I think there's one in Dublin, one in Cavan, as I just found out. I think there's one in Shannon as well.
No, there's more than one in Dublin. There's one in Palmerstown. No, not Palmerstown. Newlands Cross, and then there's one on the south. There's at least one on the north side.
But they're not.
I think
I'm talking about spread across the country.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that correct. I didn't say it correctly. They're all in Dublin. So if you're traveling to Dublin, you have to travel to Dublin. I'm saying and spread around the country. There's only, say, locations. There's only 4 possible locations then. We pedantic bitch. There's only
You're welcome.
1 in Northern Ireland, and then I think 3 locations in the south that have actual crematoriums. Like,
but you were having a burial, right? It was a casket that was being placed in the ground, right?
Well, no. There's the funeral, which will be held in the chapel. Leaving the house at 10, as Crafty says. It's a very early one. Leaving the house at 10, body moved and going up it, and starting at 10:30. It'll probably be a half hour, 45 minutes mass. It is a Catholic service, so it'll be mass, lots of standing up and sitting down. And, oh yeah, shitloads of standing up and sitting down. I'm thinking in protest, I mightn't do it at all. Oh no, good. Well, like, in retrospect to Harry.
Don't.
No.
I mean,
Harry absolutely hated it, right? Catholic. He was married into the Catholic family. He was Catholic himself on paper and all that there. But Harry would always ask me to look after him when we would go to services, or we would go to weddings, or we would go to funerals where there was an awful lot of standing up and sitting down, because he would tell everyone he's in pain, so he needed to go outside for a smoke, and I would get to go with him, and we would just sit outside and smoke joints. And, you know, I loved Harry. I really did. You know, it was great. So I didn't have to do the standing up and sitting down because of him. Now I'm going to have to stand up and sit him down because of him.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at the old people. Just watch what the old folks are doing. Natasha, thank you for coming. You get a spanner.
You can't use that as an excuse to go out. Although that's what he would have wanted.
But this is tonight. I'll be desperately honest. I am on antibiotics, but I did get a half bottle of wine because Harry would not like it any other way. And I will be on my medication back again in the morning, and I will follow it through. It's only a 7-day course, so it's not a problem. But if
I were you, I'd take the biggest donut you can find, and about 10 minutes after you've been sat there, so you can't sit down anymore.
Harry bought me this whenever Elena was born, and this is Dominican Republic private stock number 2. It's, you know, I'm not big into cigars and stuff like this, but it's one of the really, really, really nice ones that you can get legally over here. It's not a Cuban or anything like that, but it's, you know, you look them up, they're maybe £15-20 a cigar. I have a box there that's 20 in it from fucking Gran Canaria Island that I didn't pay 20 quid for. I think I paid €15 for them, like, you know. They're not bad, Geo. They're not bad at all, like, you know. I use them just for generally rolling blunts. But Harry bought me this, and I'm desperately...
Don't keep them very long. Make sure you smoke them, because they'll just they'll go bad.
Oh, they're all, you get them, they're individually wrapped.
No, but doesn't matter. Unless you have a humidor, they're rot anyway. So smoke them.
Yeah.
Smoke them up.
Yeah.
And then there's another one I have, which is I bought from over here, which is quite nice. There's a a King Edward Invincible. They're another one that's quite nice. And as I say, look, that box was full, man, and it was only like €15. It was from the Canary Islands. It's a wee fucking shitty box, but yeah, just for making blunts. They're better than blunt skins. They're cheaper. They work out cheaper than blunt skins if you were buying blunt skins.
Oh, okay.
And they're proper. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. He bought me that cigar when Elena was born.
Nice.
I'm very, very tempted to smoke it tomorrow. But I know...
I would.
Yeah, but you see, I couldn't smoke an entire cigar that size. I'd need a couple of people to split it with.
Oh, no. You need... what you tell me, that should be, I don't know, probably 2.5, 3 hour smoke. You take a good bottle of port.
Yeah.
Because if not, you get drunk. Yeah, 2.5. Yeah, not too much.
There's a.
So yeah,
Reference.
yeah, it's a couple of hours. It's a couple of hours. Good bottle of port wine, so that it refreshes you up because you need something to drink, but you don't want to get. I mean, whiskey would be okay, but a couple of hours you get drunk at the end of it, which is not worth it.
Yeah.
So port is okay. Some water, and yeah, a couple of hours, good movie, and you enjoy
Is that any
it.
good?
Buckfast.
Is that any good?
What?
I
What
don't
else?
fucking idea what it is.
It's shitty leftover.
It's piss water, basically.
It's not fucking.
No. You need something which complements the cigar.
With
You don't
fucking
want
class.
something which fights the cigar.
Class.
Yeah, it's the port. That's a great suggestion.
Have you met me, Crafty? Class.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Class.
Let me
Try it.
show you the boxes where of the cigars that I used to smoke. Hold on a second. So.
I was the stream, Dave. Oh.
It was good. I mean, it's been an insane week.
So this is the box that the cigar came in, and just for reference, that's a lighter.
And you kept the butt.
No, I kept the box.
Yeah. Oh no, the thing. What's in the box at the bottom? Is that just a holder? I thought it was. The...
Oh no, it's the what do you call it? The thing which goes
label.
on the cigar.
The label.
Yeah, the label. Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge
There's
cigar.
a whole tobacco.
That's a massive one. That's 3 hours of smoke, easily. It's brilliant. It's an edition that they make every year, so we just buy two, one for me and one for my wife. We got a good movie, and usually in around the 6th of January, stuff like that, we just decide, we're gonna spend the night over there, either wine, port, stuff like that. Depends on the cigar, really, what's good with that here.
That's,
but yeah.
that's- yeah. I generally, as I say, I just cut them open and fill them full of weed.
Well,
I'm all for that.
Well, that's why I
So
bought the cheap ones. There was no point in spending money on a really nice cigar if you're just going to destroy it. I'm after the tobacco leaf. I'm after that general flavour, but that's not what I'm after. So 15 quid for 20. They're working out.
Oh.
The
problem with that cigar is that if I fill it with weed, I mean, the cigar is way more expensive than any amount of weed you can put in there. Because that one is so this year it was a 47 euros cigar.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it
so
depends on-
Why would it be so expensive, right? As the
depends on the
connoisseur,
weed.
I'm going to ask the connoisseur.
this one is handmade. They make a limited batch every year, and every year is different, and it's huge. So
Size matters.
yeah. Well, yeah, but mostly because it's handmade. The tobacco leaves are chosen. The picked. It's
You don't
it's a
inhale a
big-
cigar. That's what's.
It's an art form.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yeah, as a smoker, it's very difficult to not inhale.
Yeah, you don't inhale
Well-
cigars.
Well,
Try
you
not
nail
to.
a little bit.
It takes practice. It feels unnatural, so to speak. I know smoking is unnatural, but once you've been doing it for years, it's like driving or riding a bicycle or something like that. You just do it without thinking. And then when you're smoking a cigar, your body does it without thinking because of muscle memory, and then you end up killing yourself.
Yeah, I guess, so I really don't know because, smoking a cigar is, is, at least I'm talking for me, right? So the technique is different rather than smoking cigarettes. The main thing about the cigar is that you don't want it to, so you don't want to heat it too much, but at the same time, you don't want it to shut down because then you have to light it back, which is a stress to the tobacco. So it's it's back and forth.
I would
so
totally
mostly,
understand that. Totally understand that.
so yeah, so mostly actually what you do is you inhale. I mean, you get one in, but you get 2 or 3 out. You puff it just to keep the fire on.
Oh yeah,
know?
for a cigar, right? I'm gonna have to actually make an effort. It's very small at the moment, which doesn't help, but it's it's lit up
Right. Yeah.
and then it's just puffed out. I don't inhale it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it's funny.
To me, I have to make a conscious. It's like learning to smoke again.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know, you have to actually make the conscious effort to not inhale, which feels weird because you're forcing against like a muscle memory in your throat and your lungs.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to.
Yeah, no,
I know.
I understand.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, waiting on a fucking elevator, I was like, fuck this shit. I'm fucking healthy enough. I've done my way in and stuff like that. I've done my height, my BMI and all that bollocks. Run up 5 flights of stairs. Right? And balls aside, this was when the painkillers were working and everything was grand, and I went outside for a smoke, which probably didn't fucking help. But then, sort of as quick as I could, you know, on the first day there, up the 5 flights of stairs just to see, you know, how healthy I am lung-wise, which I know is not great. And yes, I was correct. It's not great. Definitely need to be walking more, or get a bike or something like that there. Or need to work on my lungs a bit more.
It's really funny. I brought it before in the side chat. You were talking about painkillers. It's really funny how there is some people which won't get the vaccine because of the nanochips and the
magnetism and 5G.
The fucking satellite.
Yeah.
But the moment they are in pain, they will get every painkiller they can get. You know, it doesn't matter what's in there. I don't care what you put in there. Just give me the fucking painkiller. It's right. Really weird.
Can I ask you?
Right?
I'm gonna ask. We've got a group from around the world here, so to speak. You know, well, not that far away. We'll average it out. We've got around the world. I'm in the radiology department, X-ray department, whatever you want to call it. I'm going down for the ultrasound because they want to confirm what they believe from the my diagnosis and the rest of it and stuff. They want to confirm before I leave that they're correct, which is understandable. They don't want to send me out the fucking door,
right?
Not knowing what they're doing. So they send me down for an ultrasound, and yes, they were correct, grand, and all the rest of it. But I'm in with a nurse, and waiting on the doctor to come. Doctor was called Dave, and before he came in, the nurse was coming in, and she mentioned to me about the scan and how long you're here for, and I was like, well, as soon as you scan me, my paperwork gets up the stairs, I should be out. She says that's very quick, and then I explained to her about the funeral. Sort of went down the route as what the conversation we're having today, and because as I mentioned to her, I was like, us as a Western society really deal with death very badly, and she was like, well, there's worse ones out there. I've heard of some culture over in Asia, and the way it is with their suppression of women, when a woman dies and there's no man to look after her, she's at the very bottom of society, and she'll just throw herself on the flames and just die with the husband whenever he's getting cremated. And just the way she put it across, I don't know. She a little racist?
Well, it depends.
There are cultures. There are cultures.
I don't know if it still happens particularly.
Yeah, I mean it is a stereotypical look at some of the more devout religions.
And her description of it was one of them Asian religions.
Yeah, that is racist. Because she's not able to actually say which religion or how devout or. No,
don't get me wrong. She's a nurse. She's obviously smart in her field. I'm not going to say that she's ignorant or uneducated. She may know not a goddamn thing about any Asian religions. It just may be something that's out of her field. Like we could talk tech talk, and somebody may not know what we're talking about. But if we talk about their field.
The fact that she has an education to be a nurse doesn't mean that she's a dumb cunt in life. So.
But it also doesn't mean that she knows about other fields.
Yes.
Right.
That's the point I was trying to put across. Yeah.
Hey,
like for me, I'm gonna have to jump off. I'm gonna Gio, just before.
Hold on, Gio. Are you jumping too?
Okay. Yeah, I have to jump off too. I was just about to say.
Okay, right, Crafty, go on ahead, and then I'll let you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Just before I jump off, I have a very strange view of death because I've been involved in. I didn't realize he was jumping off that quick, but because I've been in farming, I don't view death the way I used to view death. It's a much more. I value the life that someone lived instead of mourning their death. So it's a bit of a strange one for being in the Western society because we're trained to mourn someone's death. Or mourn someone's passing. I tend to concentrate on their life doesn't matter how long they've lived, it's the value of their life. So, yeah, stay safe tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, Sam. Thanks, Sam.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Natasha,
Oh,
we're losing Natasha as well. Thanks for coming to bed. Thanks for coming to bed. Thanks for coming to bed. Enjoy your bed. I know the other stream went for
I think everybody deals with death in a personal way. I mean, I'm struggling to find common trait. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, of course, it might be.
In Italy,
some
do you
things...
have it in the house? Sorry, just to jump in because it's in my mind. I may forget. Do you wake the body in the house? Are you similar? Because you said there was no real differences, but there was a lot of people on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wake it in a funeral home or do you wake it in your house?
What's a wake?
I mean,
what's a wake?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a wake
mean,
in films. I thought it was a Jewish thing. I've never had a wake.
We have a wake for a wake is when the body is after leaving the hospital or leaving the old folks home or going and getting checked and say yes, died of death and all this here. Would then be transferred to the house after being tidied up and touched up and stuff and put in a suit. Would be then sent to the house. The bed would probably be taken out of their main bedroom and it would be replaced with a stand with the coffin in it and the coffin open.
I've never been to a wake in my life. We do not. We virtually are unheard of in the UK. I'm disturbed.
I'm part of the UK.
I've never been to a funeral without a wake.
I mean, I think you can organize it in the house around here, and I mean, I've never been, to somewhere where there was a corpse in the house. I mean, well, okay, let me rephrase that. I've been in places where there were corpses in the house, but not, for the wake.
Yeah.
I guess you could do that. It will not be in the bed. First of all,
no, it's not in the bed. The bed's taken out of the bed. Is
right.
Taken, yeah.
I don't think it's allowed. They're going to be in the coffin anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
it's generally in the bedroom because it's like where they're asleep. So it's sort of. Yeah, I think it's more of a. This is where they slept. They're sleeping now. Make an attachment so it's easier to deal with.
I guess you can do that. I mean, it's way more complicated. I think it's going to cost you a lot more money, but. Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't cost anything over here to wake the body in your own house because it's your house.
Yeah, but someone still has to look after them.
Right.
We don't really hand the...
no, you'll sleep in the house. Us people, like, if my mother died and we would have the wake in her house, I would be sleeping in my mum's house in the spare room 15, 20 foot from her body for a day or so until we put her on the ground, like.
It's completely alien to me.
Yeah.
I mean, and the worst thing is, I would say, when my mum died, they let us stick around in the hospice. Just in the room as we tidied stuff up with her dead on the bed.
Yeah.
And I think that was fucking fantastic.
I mean, a wake here, lasts, I would say, 1 day.
Well, we didn't see her body again until the funeral.
Yeah.
When we didn't even see her body at the funeral. We never saw her body again. There was a coffin.
See, and it was closed, obviously, then.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's just... Obviously, anything outside the norm is different to us, so to speak, but that's just what I'm used to, is body's dead, and my nanny's house was the general... Sister. My nanny's house, because it was immediate family, was generally, I've mentioned this before, my nanny had her house and her sister lived next door. You went to nanny's house, that's where the body was being waked, it was up the stairs, everybody's having tea and coffee, and you went to her sister's house when nobody was looking, and that's where you smoked your cigars and your joints out the back with a vodka. It was party in Irene's and wake in nanny's, and that, like, there was a lot of bodies waked in nanny's house. Well, not a lot, but, it was a big family, so that's always where the sort of... Am I rambling?
No, I'm trying to compare.
I find it really interesting, though, some of the weird different ways I've seen people do funerals. Because I know someone who, when his granddad died, I presume his granddad was a biker because the hearse was followed by like 20 bikes.
Yeah. That particular person, I know of a few people over here have used Mark II escorts and stuff like that. That's a very Irish thing to get a bright orange Mark II escort from the 70s. Get a big string of them. Oh, I must have passed about 30 twin cams the other day, and it was just 35-year-old men, about 15 of them all driving twin cams. And you know what I mean when I say Toyota twin cam, Stephen, don't you?
Yep.
The rear wheel drive, low to the ground, mad one, two-tone thing. It wasn't even a good car. Front wheel drive one was better. But anyway, yeah. That's... I don't know. I've always said I will make sure I end up owning a piece of land that's got beach, and then I will just, without telling anybody, just send me out Viking style and get a permit for a marquee, and everybody party the shit out all night long till the sun comes up.
Wait, tell me about the scale of the bonfire you want.
Not Northern Ireland 11th night bonfire. Don't need to go that big.
But you want a really big one, lots of flames and vicious amounts of smoke.
Do you want me to actually, right now, it's not that far away. The one over in Portadown, man. The one over in Portadown, there's one in Lisburn. I could probably do the whole round trip in an hour, right? We'll put this out there and I'll put it up to the Patreons and the members and they can vote on it, right? Alright, we'll do it just right now for the members. Anybody who's a member, type 1 for yes and 2 for no. It'll only take me an hour, right? Go to Lisburn and go to Portadown and I will show you the fucking size of some of the bonfires that they fucking have over here. I'll not do it on the night. I'll not do it on the night.
I've got to correct you. That's not a proper Viking funeral. The proper Viking funeral, they put you on a boat.
Yes.
And then they put the wood on the boat. They
Get an
just
arrow.
What?
Do they set it alight with an arrow, or is that a myth too?
Yes, yeah. They just set it on and they light it with an arrow. That's a proper fucking Viking funeral.
Oh yeah. I haven't, man. Do you want me to go? There's a bow on the other side of this wall, right there.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he's even got the bow picked now.
Slow down. I mean, your bolts are gonna ache. Fuck. I mean, it's running too much.
I do not give a flying fuck.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I'm quite happy to go fire arrows at his body, but I don't give a shit what happens to me when I die.
See, I want science to take what it can, and then I want to... And this is literally just me being slightly awkward and ridiculous. I want to have my ashes buried under a tree, and then I specifically want my friends to eat the fruit from the tree a year or two later.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have said that, and I know boys that have said, potheads, smoke me out of a marijuana plant and all that crack. Like. But yeah, Viking funeral, out in the water, arrow. No, do it in the proper way, man. Do it the proper way. And have a marquee, big ass marquee that can hold maybe 80 people, and an open bar, and everybody just have a, That's what I would want. People to just sit around and enjoy life, and you're dead.
So basically, what you're telling me is that even after your death, you're gonna be a pain in the ass for everybody, which has to later collect the boat, being sure that everything is safe. So you're gonna be a nuisance even after you're dead. That's what you're telling me.
I have told people we can do this dirt cheap. Get yourself a couple of pallets and some plastic barrels and just fucking set me on it on the coffin. Set me out, and then hit me with the arrow. I don't need a boat.
So you want a well-made coffin that's watertight?
No, I'm gonna sink anyway. You just have to set me on
first.
What?
You sink too quickly. You
pallets with the blue plastic barrels underneath them, one in each corner. That fucker will float. And then let me go on out for a wee while. You can set it up with some, what would you call it? Kindling, some straw or something like that there. And it's hard to soak in water. Straw is very hard to soak in water. And
Noxum says you're wearing the mankini.
No, I'm not going to wear the mankini. I'd probably wear, if it happened coming up, I would wear my brown suit. I'm wearing my grey suit. I have a brown suit and I have a grey suit. I have a black suit.
You've got to wait till you're in your 40s and you've doubled your weight.
Yeah, quite funny. My brother's getting married in October. My dad's been out walking the dogs like mad, and he's like, "Yeah, need to lose a bit of weight, get back into my suit for the wedding."
Next time there's some sort of wedding or funeral, I don't know if I should be conscious of, like, don't put on my pentacle necklace like I semi-usually wear, or if I should just do it anyway and just let someone be cross with me.
Sam, if I go to the church, if I go to the chapel that was the same chapel that I went to for some other thing, it's one of the ones up in the area of where Harry's getting buried. The one that we went to for, I think it was actually the child's mother's friend was getting her baby christened, and we went there, and it looked like they just bought everything for a one shop for all religion. I seen ankhs, I seen fucking crosses. It was like there was religious symbols all over the place, but this was a chapel. I've pictures.
We don't know what they were. So. It sounds like we don't know what they were, so we're just getting all the symbols.
I was getting this the entire time because it was like, stop telling me I don't give a fuck. It was like, right, do you know what that symbol for?
Well, have you been in a hospital chapel recently?
No, but there was a brand new one built in the very first hospital I went to. I noticed since the last time I was in, there was a whole new hospital, and it's right at the front door.
Well, they've got into trouble. They got into trouble a few years ago because they were all just either Protestant or Catholic.
In England or over here?
In England,
right? They
were just built for whichever was nearer usually, right? And the point is that they were being funded by the NHS, so they had to open it up. So the chapels are now generic. There's a name for them, and I've forgotten what they are. Places to think and do things.
Yes, no, they've done the same thing in airports. I noticed that now I would be in airports more than I would be in churches. Not that I'm fucking on airports all the time, but especially now with COVID and shit. But over that period, Dave, I don't know when that was, but I did notice there was a change in that, because the one in Belfast, as you're going up, it's very predominant that there's a specific area for it as you're going up the conveyor belt, and I did notice that it was changed from a chapel or a church to a thinking centre or a contemplation centre.
Yes, something like that.
It's fucking something like that.
Yeah. There's either all the fucking symbols of the various different religions on a shelf or in a drawer, so that it can be very quickly. It either always looks like that, or very quickly you can select the bits. You can mix and match the bits you want to make it look like you want.
Yeah. Though I have had a couple of funny looks when I've made a comment about wanting like a Mjolnir or something on my coffin. Mind you, I don't particularly care if I have much of a coffin. Shove me in a cardboard box or something. Go in the same place.
Right, for starters, you're so unbelievably young. Probably not going to be allowed to bury or cremate people by the time you die.
No fucking room.
Say again?
There'd be no room left to bury him.
Yeah. I mean, equally, I didn't expect to make it this far, so my internally, I'm kind of like, I have no idea when I'm going to die. I'll make provisional plans and
swap it round. Stop that. Just no. I'm aiming
think
for
about how you live. Let everyone else worry about your diet.
I'm aiming for 117. That's 17's my nice number. So I'm aiming for 117, and with medical technology and this incident as a kick up the ass to get myself healthier and start looking after myself a wee bit more.
Stephen, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh shit! See, he might live to 100, and that really bugs me. And Sam almost certainly will.
And why can't I? I have it takes 10 years. It takes 10 to 15.
Too old already. You might.
It takes 10 to 15 years to get, from you stop smoking. It's 10 to 15 years till your lungs can ever get back to, if they ever do get back to what, that's the period. If I had the best case scenario, and I probably don't think my lungs will ever get back to if I'd never smoked and I was 50, and my lungs after 15 years of not smoking at 50,
the issue you've got here,
thanks for coming, Stephen. Yeah, you want to say, Stephen, before you bounce out?
No, man, that's it. Other than just sorry for being A little bit more quiet. I'm just tired as fuck tonight, man.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We were chatty at the start, man. You were here. You kept me company before everybody else arrived. You were here from the start, man. I hope the audio issues is all good. I hope we're going forward. And hit me up tomorrow before Dave's stream. I should be home between the funeral and Dave's stream. And I'll show you a quick thing about the cameras. And then you can do the rest yourself. You know, I'll show you how to do one. And then you can fish for the rest of your life.
I'm pretty sure I might actually still be in work at that point, but I will let you know.
No bother, they don't.
All right, cheers, man.
Bye. You were saying, Dave.
What were we talking about? It's gone. Oh, you've got right. If you look at your average age of lung cancer, which is your biggest risk factor there, you're probably going to get it in your 50s, right? Which gives you 15, 20 years for them to have got the tech to either seriously replace lungs. And I think that's too soon. Whereas if Sam needed lungs replaced in his 50s, there's 30 years for that tech to get there.
I can see that.
I'm very... I don't think the term nihilistic is accurate.
Dave, you're telling me, just I work this out, you're telling me I'm going to be dead when my daughter's 16. I'm not walking her down the aisle.
No, it's just I'm playing the probabilities. How long you're actually going to live. At the end of the day, the number of people in their hundreds that smoke is disturbing.
Yes. Olive oil and all that. Live like an Italian. You know, the Italian diet. It's the healthiest.
There's the gene things. The lung cancer is fantastic.
My nanny smoked right up until she died, and it wasn't even fucking cancer that killed her. And
I'm listening to you guys, and just keep in mind that I'm 55, so I'm spot on, right? So my mother died from lung cancer. She never smoked a fucking cigarette in her life. I haven't got my grandparents anymore, but one died that he was 99 years and 11 months.
Oh.
The other one was 105.
Kicking himself in heaven.
No, he was glad. I'll tell you later about that. The other one was 105. The third one, she was 100, I think 103. And the one which died sooner than everybody else was 85.
Was that all female though?
No. Well, no.
The average age over here for males is the early 80s. Sorry, I'll just restate that. The average age for males in my family, and that does include smokers as well, would have been in around the early 80s for my family.
Well, I mean,
heart attacks.
They all smoked, including my granny, which died 105.
Heart attacks.
The interesting thing is, for smoke, there's some things with genetics and smoking.
Yeah.
They haven't found a link as to whether or there is no direct link been found between lung cancer and smoking. In terms of, but there are a set of genes, various different genes they found that massively increase your chances if you smoke.
Oh, fuck me. I mean, you don't tell me. As I told you, I mean, when my mother died from lung cancer, I mean, she survived like 2 or 3 years after she was diagnosed. When she died, I mean, I went to have a complete checkup and said, fuck it, do it, right? And it was okay. Now, the fun part is that I got an operation last October. So they removed my thyroid because I had, a disease which I had since I was 25, which, I was, just taking drugs, but they say, the longer you go, the worse it is. So, let's get the thyroid away. And I had a small nodule in my thyroid, which has been there ever since they first saw it, which was when I was 25. So basically a million years ago, right?
Half your life away.
Right. So they got away the thyroid, and then they examined what it was. And it turned out that it was carcinoma papillary. So it was cancer.
Yeah.
And I've been living that for 30 years, right? Now, that was the funniest feeling in my life. because the guy told me, yeah, that was cancer. I said, okay, what the fuck do I do now? I said, well, nothing. We took everything away. So basically, they told me I had cancer. I've had cancer for 30 years without knowing that. Yeah. And when they told me, they already removed. So
cancer as a word is just a descriptor. So cancer is just a descriptor.
Most people have.
Hey, listen, I know, but the problem is that I had, right? Yeah. So I don't give two fucks about the other guys. It's my skin. So the funny thing was that I couldn't be worried because they got it away, and then I said, "Wow, I should have been worried." No, I shouldn't because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, totally understand that.
Going by my family history, presuming that humans don't wipe themselves out, the men in my family lived to the mid-60s usually. And the women in my family usually live to late 80s, early 90s. Which, if I know where that puts me.
The funny story, when my nanny got older, she used to smoke more, and she would drink a cheap version of Buckfast wine. It was a tonic wine, the same as what this is, and she would have one glass of it when she woke up in the morning, and she smoked cigarettes. And when I was like 18 or 19, what's that say, Ox? Make you screen big. Make me screen big for 1 second? Why is that? I don't know. Yeah,
he wants to diagnose you.
What?
He wants to diagnose you.
Yeah.
Whenever I was, I'll send you. Oh, if you want the picture, man, I'll just send you the picture. If that's what you're after, I'll just send you the picture. When I was 18 or 19, and my nanny was always very good because we used to hang around in the same sort of village. It was only a small village. And we used to hang around with friends there. And if we were really drunk and our mother was looking for us, we would go hide at Nanny's. And Nanny would always hide us and feed us some toast and stuff like that and sober us up before sending us home. And Ma would come to the house and she would, no, haven't seen them, up the stairs, passed out in the fucking bed, And I went to my Nanny's one time and I was like, Nanny, I've something to tell you. We've been cracking away for a while. And I was like, I'm going to have a smoke. And I had a pre-rolled joint and I went to the back of the house and I just started smoking it. And as we were growing up, we used to take my nanny's cigarettes and put them in the sink and soak them because we didn't want Nanny to die. And Nanny told us that she'd stop smoking, and all Nanny did was just stop smoking in front of us. So when I went to the back door and I started to smoke, she then just told me this, and it was like a bonding experience, And I've never been back to my nanny's grave. I carried her coffin from the house down to the bottom of her hill, then it goes round the corner and there's a big long straight, and then it goes up another hill, and then I carried it a big chunk of the way up that hill as well. And go to the grave, but I don't know if the good camera will pick it up, but that is, hold on, so I've already fucking mentioned
Very
it.
reflective.
Well, I've already mentioned the name tonight, but I'll cover it up. That is my dad's nanny. Very reflective. Maybe ready to take a picture and pop it. But anyway, yeah, that sits here, and that's one of the wee cards that they give. And she passed away on the 30th of November 2011. So, yeah, that'll be 10 years. She'll be dead this November. She died age 80. And gone but not forgotten. That's what it says at the front. And I have that sitting there. I have a picture of my daughter sitting there. You don't need to go to a fucking grave to remember people. That's just something that culture and something that society has fucking told you.
No. I mean, don't say that. Again, everybody grieves.
Oh, everybody grieves different. Sorry, this is me. This is my opinion. I will start off with, in my opinion, I don't feel the need.
It's so. I mean, again, I don't want to be to sound like I can't. It's not more like opinion. Your experience. I mean, the way you live death is that one.
The way that I deal with death and the loss of a person.
Right.
Are you happy with that?
Because no. Listen, the only reason I tell you that is because
no, I totally understand. I don't want to offend anybody, and this is a very
no. Listen, I mean, the last time I saw my mom was on morphine on the bed that she died. I mean, she died with me, right? And so we did the funeral, and I've never been there. my wife, for example, her mom, she died before mine, you know, because of cancer, you know, well, all the stuff. She goes to, you know, to the cemetery, well, quite often, I would say, you know, at least once a month.
Yeah.
So you know, people are different, and nobody should be feeling, well, I would say guilty, you know, but different or whatever, because they deal with things in their own way. So that's the only reason why I picked you up, because you know, because my family is the perfect example. You know, I don't give two fucks. She goes every month.
Yeah, no, I appreciate.
That is.
I appreciate.
That's something that.
Yeah, just if I can finish, Sam. Yeah, I appreciate the disclaimer, and yeah. So what Fabio said in relative to me, like, if someone tells me someone personally close to me has died, like when my nanny died, I got the phone call in the house that I used to live in. I was sitting in the living room. I remember it specifically. Broke down, cried for 2 or 3 hours, you know, but got it out of my system. That was it out of my system. And I remember being in the bedroom, you know, and the minister was there, and he was saying the prayer before the body was lifted, and we carried it down the stairs. Like the family carries it down the stairs and all day. You know, and we get it out the door and all. Oh, sometimes, don't even fucking go there, man, right? It's funny sometimes as well, which is good, right? Fucking pivot, right? So yeah. And I specifically remember that because even at that stage, 10 years ago, I remember being, before knowing what an atheist was, being an atheist, because I didn't close my eyes when everyone else was and all the rest of it. And it was the first time I'd seen my father really, really, really cry. I am not putting that on screen, Dave.
Ox's tweet.
I am not putting that on fucking screen. Alright, all I can see is a naked man skiing down a mountain. I have no reason
He is most definitely not naked.
Alright, let me finish. Right? And it was the first real time that I'd seen my biological father as vulnerable. Would that be the correct word? I think so. Like, because he's a very strong man. He's an army man. He's been a drill sergeant. You know, he's been to war and all that there sort of. Yeah. It was the first time that I really seen him vulnerable. You know, and I didn't cry at the funeral. I didn't cry carrying the coffin. The reason I carried it the second time, there wasn't enough people. In the second one, I just volunteered for and stuff and all, went up for it. And my mum even asked me if I was okay because I hadn't cried, and she'd seen me not crying and all. She was like, "Are you alright?" And I was like, yeah. I've just, you know, I've done my bit. And I carried it, as I said, we went to the service. She's in the ground. And in my actual first, you know, Dave knows at the minute, and people over here know at the minute, I'm driving another car because my other car was in an accident. My first car, as we'll call it, my devil car that's got the 666 license plate. In the glove box, there's a version of this, which is slightly bigger. It's double again with the same thing, but it's all on one side, so to speak. And that stays in my car. You know, it's always been in my car since the day of the funeral. I got it given to me. Immediate family got these wee reminders, you know, like, what do you call them at weddings? The wee thing that everybody gets at weddings. I don't know what they're called. Anyway.
The card.
No, like a wee bag of stuff to take home with you. Fuck it, doesn't
You
matter.
got a party bag at a wedding?
Doesn't matter what I'm talking about. Anyway, immediate family got these wee reminders, alright? And it was put in the car, and it's always been in the car. And this one, since the table was done, I took it out of where it was, and I put it here, and it's, you know, I've never been to my granny's grave, my nanny's grave, since she was buried. I've never been again to my granda's grave, except on the day that I was there for my nanny's grave. My cousin, who lived with my nanny and granda, she died while I was on holiday, Jacqueline, and people have heard me mention her before and heard me talk about her before. I've never, ever been to her grave. And as, again, disclaimer what Fabio said, it's just the way it is for me, is people are remembered not by the stone above their dead, rotting corpse. Sorry to be a blunt fucking atheist and all the rest of it, no evidence, and let's not have that, but people aren't remembered once a month in a pattern. Patterns get forgot about. Patterns just become patterns. It's just, it loses its emotional attachment, so to speak. It's just, people get remembered in the memories of the people around them. You know, there's a reason that we keep talking about fucking Jesus, because everybody wouldn't shut up about him for 2,000 years. There's a reason that people remember Plato and things like that, because of the words that they said matter further down the generations. I personally want to go to a course and learn how to do blacksmithing and make a knife that I can give to my daughter. You know, at a certain age, with the consent of her mother and all the rest of it, probably after she's 18. Blah. But that's something that I made, and that knife may stay in the family for 3 or 4 generations before it's thrown out. It may stay in the family 2 generations longer after I'm dead, and the average is 3 generations. Once you're a great-granda, you get forgot about. If that knife lives for 2 generations longer before someone sells it at fucking the Antiques Roadshow 100 years down the line, I lasted longer than average. And you know, people only get remembered by the people around them. Make an impact in the life and the people around you, and make it a good impact. Like, affect the people around you, help them make themselves better, and in that they'll make you better. And I don't fucking know, I'm gonna have to go icon now, but you know, it's gonna take an awful long time for me not to have a drink or not to have a smoke and not think of Harry, because not to say that that's what he was, but he was aware that he was dying for 15 years. They told him, you've got like 6 months. You've got like 7 months. You know, there was a family running fucking joke that you're not dead yet, Harry, you fucking bastard. You know, he's always holding on. And as I said, you know, he decided a couple of years ago that, oh, fuck that icon right now, doesn't appropriate at all, but you know, he said a couple of years ago that was, you know, I'm going out happy, you know. What's the point in sitting around moping about fucking not being able to go for walks, not being able to sit in the car, not being able to do this? The man's brain was there, 100%. Whenever I stayed over the weekends on a Sunday morning, I would get up with the child and let her mother lie on. You know, it's a day for her to rest, and child's running about and stuff and shit like that, and I'm sitting in the kitchen with her dad and her mum obviously as well, and we're having breakfast. Her mum always made a huge fry on a Sunday morning. Like, Dave, I've sent you pictures of it. This thing's a fucking, oh my goodness, right? Big ass fry she makes for the whole family every Sunday morning. And I'd be awake while it's being cooked, and we're sitting in the kitchen because that's the only place you're allowed to smoke. And her mum's filling out the crossword. You know, you get questions and you get clues and stuff. I've never known, the man did not know how to not spell. Like, he could spell every fucking word. You know, he's been known to sit and read the fucking dictionary just so he knows the meanings and words and how to spell them and stuff like that. His brain was 100%, you know, up until the last week or so, where obviously with pain meds and stuff, but his brain was 100% still there. He taught maths for a while, you know. It's a Catholic funeral and stuff like that, and it's more cultural, and he was very cultural Catholic, but we've talked about God and stuff like that. He was very aware. One of the last texts he sent me was, congratulations on how I've done here, and he was very smart. He was a very good man. I don't know. I read some words down earlier. I'm trying to make a video. I'm just trying to find the right images to go with it. But I don't know. Not going to be the same. As I said, when I went there for the weekends, when I go there for the weekends once a month, you know, as I said, I'm an insomniac. I'll be up late. The whole house will be quiet. Like, when he slept, he had to have the TV up loud and stuff like that. I don't be in that house often, but it's just going to be completely different now. When I'm up late, I'm going to be alone. You know, everybody else is going to be sleeping.
It changes things.
It's also going to be a house full of women now. My wee girl, her mother and her grandmother. Not to say I don't have a voice in the house or anything like that, but Harry would even always stick up for me. You know, even after me and Donna broke up, Harry was always, you know, I don't want to sound misogynistic or anything like that, but there's a bond that men have and shit like that. Do you understand what I mean? I know it's a panel fun of it, you know, and it's just...
Yeah.
Man, he would fucking, like, towards the very end, and I don't want to disparage him by saying anything like this. If you know what's coming and you know what the backstory is, I'm hoping I'm putting it across. Like, I don't want to make it sound bad, but like, he would send me to the shop when he knew that his mother and his daughter were off doing some other shopping, so I could buy him fucking bottles of brandy and hide them in his wee secret places. And I knew where all his wee secret places was, like, you know. He'd be like, right, put it in that cupboard, Robbie, you know. And I know that I probably wasn't helping with his alcoholism, but like, what do you want me to do? His own family's not going to stop him. This is what he's doing, you know. He's doing it anyway. It's...
Yeah.
You've only got a couple of years left, and man, when you're taking 42 fucking tablets a day, it took an hour and a half on a Sunday, and they made it a thing after the breakfast was done. This big ass box, and I mean, like, I'm not being hyperbolic. It's one of them big storage boxes. It's that by that, you know. It's a fucking big ass box, and it gets put in the middle of the table, and they spend maybe an hour and a half, and they set it out with the stacks. You know them tablets you get, and it's, as it goes down, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then as it goes across, you get your 12 o'clock, your middle of the day, and this, that, and the other. And you know, took an hour and a half to sort that for the week. He's not in pain anymore. It got to the point he couldn't walk. People have seen the pictures on Twitter, I think, maybe, and closer friends from the wedding that we all went to last year, and he didn't go to the one before that because he wasn't well, and he made a point and was very sick about it when he went down. It fucking killed his legs, killed him, killed his back and stuff. But he knew a year ago that this was the last time I'm going to see all my family down where they're from. You know, he knew that he was never going to be able to travel that far again. It's 4 hours, you know, someone who can't walk, restless legs, you know. 4 hours in the car's hard. Dave might know that.
20 minutes kills me.
Huh?
20 minutes kills me.
Yeah. It's... and he knew it too. He fucking splashed all his savings before he died. Well, if he didn't splash it all, he spent... I'm pretty sure he fucking splashed it all. He did up, he paid for all of the whole kitchen getting done up, he paid for the hall getting done up, you know. He knew it was coming. He put it all back into the family. Put it all into the house. Did up the garden, bought the child a new fucking trampoline and shit. I think it was him, or put money towards it. And knowing what was coming, he put money towards the fucking... He paid for basically half the fucking family used caravan. You know what I mean? Dave, down caravan at the beach, one of them mobile home shit things. Yeah, paid for half of that. You know, it's good, man.
Yeah, I think that being able to leave something for people is really nice, and kind of more towards the end, me and my granddad had a bit of a conversation where it was like, the most important things to leave people with are some good lessons, something to remember you by, and some absolutely bullshit memories.
Oh, fuck, man. Harry knew... This is another example of Harry fucking knowing what's coming and all the rest of it. They wouldn't allow him and his son would go to Amsterdam quite regularly. Harry was always a smoker. And they would make a trip, and they would go on Harry's birthday, and they would go on his son's birthday, and they would probably squeeze another one in during the year if they could find a fucking cheap deal. They loved going to Amsterdam together. Very, very close family, or very, very close father and son. And towards the end, with Harry's conditions, you had to pay a big whack of health insurance, travel insurance, to be allowed to fly.
Yeah.
But because he had to pay for it, he had it, right? He's insured out the wing wang, right? But fucking hates hospitals, right? Fucking hates. He's like, every time I go into a hospital, I keep for like a month probably. I'm not going into the fucking hospital. And he went with his son and he fell out of the bottom bunk. And whatever way he fell out of the bottom bunk, he landed on his arm. And you know, there's like two bones, I don't know what they're called. The two main bones that run down your main forearm. One of them broke. And he refused to go to the fucking hospital and stayed there for another 3 or 4 days. And his wife, which would be the child's grandmother, had arranged to go away on a 3-week cruise with her 3 sisters to Thailand on the day after or the morning after Harry had arrived home. So Harry arrived home and said fuck all about his wrist, and then she fucked off for 3 weeks and we could not get him to go to the hospital. And they ended up with a big chunk sort of like pointing out and the two bones joining together. And like when she came back from the fucking the cruise and found out, she was like, I don't care if your arm is in agonizing pain, you did not go, this is your own fault, you cannot complain to me, I'm not listening. It was oh no. After paying all that fucking extra and getting everything and all the rest of it and then not taking advantage of it, he's stubborn old fucker. I offered during that period, I says to him, Harry, do you want to go I'll take you to Tesco's if there's anything you want. And he was like, no, I'm fine, I'll give you a list. And like, the daughter was away, the mother was on holiday. It was free for him to come to the shop and buy anything he wanted. And when I come back, he told me, I was like, I was afraid he'd taken me to the hospital, Rabbi. Didn't want to go to the hospital. Great. Okay.
It sounds like the word cantankerous might have been applicable.
No, he just didn't want to. No.
That's fair.
I'll definitely not forget him.
Yeah.
So yeah, been going for a while. And Dave, is there anything that you would like to say or scream or shout or?
No, I can tell you, it sounds like my nan, in that she was told she had months to live, weeks to live, back in the early 80s. She's still alive.
Fair. I had a neighbor who was told in 2012 he had a few months to live before his brain tumor got him, and to this day I still owe him that game of snooker because he's still knocking about.
Sometimes they get it wrong. Sometimes people's fucking just will to
That's
live.
all stats, isn't it?
Yeah. People have a will to live, and you hold on, like.
Yeah, never underestimate the stubbornness of people.
Fabio, have you any words of wisdom that you would like to share with anyone? You've been quiet for quite a while, just listening to me talk.
No, I mean, man, you were on a roll. I understand, it gets difficult. So I didn't want to, to interrupt. I thought of making a stupid joke, but I don't think it was appropriate. So
go on to fuck, man. You're come on. You're known for your sense of humor. Let's hear this joke.
Well,
if it's making fun of me or making fun of the situation, Harry would approve of it 100%.
Well, I mean, listen, no, I would not make a joke. I mean, I can make a joke about your balls, but fuck me, right?
Balls are open game,
Yeah, no. Well, yours are particularly open right now, but no. So I will tell you what is the most difficult thing that I'm facing every time somebody close to me dies, and that was. So the first time it happened was a very close friend of mine. I think it was 18, and the guy was a friend of mine, so it was probably 19 or something like that. And he died in a very stupid car accident, like mentally stupid, right?
They're not good.
So the thing which struck me the most, and that has happened every time, with less degree, but the idea is still there, is how is it possible that the sun is going to rise tomorrow? And when it does, you don't think, okay, this is not fair. That cannot happen, because everything has to stop, right? I mean, my pain, my feelings are so deep that the whole universe has to stop. There is no other way that it cannot happen, but it doesn't, because the universe and the world, they don't give two fucks about you. They don't give two fucks about your friend. They don't give two fucks about what he did, what he didn't. So if you're looking for a reason in the grand scheme of the universe, you'll find none, because there is none. The only thing you can do, is live as if there is one. And is it being diluted? Yeah, maybe. That's why, for example, I think that in those kind of things, if you believe in something, if you have a religious, feeling, you actually have a huge advantage, like a massive one. Yeah. Like this is something that cannot even be, discussed.
Yeah, in all honesty, Harry,
for fuck reasons, it doesn't matter. It's because of a stupid reason or what. You got it's a great consolation if you believe in that.
The things that Harry was doing to himself didn't end his life,
right?
They maybe shaved a year off at tops. He got.
So if you don't, the closest thing you can do is to lie to yourself. Think about that. Whatever happened is actually important, and deal with it. And yeah, I mean, it is literally lying to yourself, and then eventually your grief will subside, and everything will go back to normal, because you can't live a life, thinking about your dead relatives or your dead friends like fucking forever, because, really, fuck you, right? You can't. So eventually the things will smooth out, and you will carry on, and up until the next thing which happened, and you go on and on and on and on. And then when that happens enough times, and it happens to enough people which are close to you, you understand it's part of a cycle. There is literally nothing you can do. There is literally nothing you can say. You just have to deal with the situation. You deal with it, you live your grief the way you're supposed to be living, according to you. And now we're back to what we were talking about a second before, half an hour before. And then you fucking soldier on. Because, really, who wants to be a fucking burden to the people which are living? You can be miserable and be a pain in the ass just for X amount of time. Yeah, but you cannot possibly make the life of the people around you more miserable because you are in pain.
Funerals and all of that sort of stuff are for the living, they're not for the dead.
And the funeral are great things because they are cathartic. It's a moment where you can all gather together. People which they have something in common, they all knew the people, and if you want to let it go, you let it go. If you don't, you don't. You just find comfort in the presence of people that knew the same person as you did. And mind you, that might not even be true, right? Because other people might remember the other person in a totally different way. But that doesn't matter. It's the cathartic moment where you actually you crystallize the moment, you leave the moment, say, okay, right on, we just now we got to think about something else, and you got to deal with it. That's all I have to offer to you, man.
Sam, you said something I want to then add in reference back to Fabio, and then we'll round up. So go on ahead.
I think the way I've found I deal with grief feels really weird, because I'll be upset for a bit, and then it'll kind of eventually come back in waves. But then I tend to reach a point where I'm like, I will find a random keepsake, like an item the person gave me or something, and just keep them all in a box and look through them occasionally. And kind of like, then whenever I think about the person, it's about the things they did and the change they made while they existed.
Yeah, how they impacted your life. How they impacted your life. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that because I'm fairly agnostic on the concept of an afterlife, even though I'm religious, I've fully accepted there might not be anything. The people who have died might be dead, and I think that I have genuinely processed their deaths better because of that.
I would agree with you that Western society and with the idea of the Christian way is people deal badly. Kids, they're great. And I picked Elena up on Friday, and we're driving up the road after she's kicked me in the fucking nuts, before it got too bad. And I said to her, because we knew it was coming, you know. You've been moved to a particular part of the hospital where it's not the hospice, but it's palliative care. It's, you know, we're just making life easy for you now until you pass. And I said to Elena, I was like, do you know where Grand is? And she was like, he's in the hospital. And I was like, you know, there's a possibility that Granda won't be coming home from the hospital. And she said, nope. And I was like, no, there is. There's, you know, Granda mightn't be coming back from the hospital. And she was like, no, Granda's not coming back from the hospital. She was like, you know, she knew that he was sick. She knew that he was unwell. And I was like, how does that make you feel, honey? And she was like, well, you know, I'll miss him. It makes me sad. And then her saying that without getting upset, you know, just saying it like, you know, just getting it out there as it should be, so to speak. That struck me, so I got a little upset. And I was like, she seen me crying, and she reached over from the passenger side. I have her in the front. Don't get me wrong, she's only 4. She's in 7-year-old clothes, people. Okay, 7-year-old clothes. She's definitely of the height to legally be in the front. And she reached across and she put her hand on my knee and she goes, it's okay, Daddy, because you've got me. And leaning back to what Fabio said is, you give your own life purpose. Find people in the life that you can keep close to you. Find people in your life that give your life meaning, and that you can give them meaning. Find someone that gives a shit. You're muted, Fabio.
So there is also the alternative of being a total asshole to everybody.
So, going the Fabio route, as we're calling it now.
Well, I don't know if it's a route, but, you know, it's a way, right? And so you can be a total asshole to everybody. And I mean a massive one, not one which pretends to be, but just a proper one, right? So, and the only reason you do that is when you die, nobody will feel pain. So you be the ultimate carer of the people around you, you know, by thinking, oh, thank God that piece of shit is dead. Now, yeah, good riddance. There is that.
No, it's not like I want everybody to turn up at my funeral and all that. I don't give if the general public fucking hates me, but... You know.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, no. I want to be a super inconvenience when I die. Yeah.
Oh, you're one of them fuckers that hits 80 and goes, I'm sick of wiping my own ass. I'm now
I want listen, I want to ruin the day to fucking everybody. Knowing that would be the last time that I can really fuck with that people.
Oh.
Right? So I really want them to be miserable. So I don't know. I probably live down, you know, besides the obvious, like, you know, find the cheapest casket ever, you know, and don't spend money on shit.
Yeah.
But I want to do something like, okay, have a wake, you know, somewhere, and then the funeral in, you know, in a church, because I know even if I don't give 2 fucks, but I will fuck with some people. Yeah. And that has to be like, I don't know, 50 miles from the wake. And then from the church, they have to bury me in a cemetery which is another, I don't know, 30 miles. I want to make I want to fuck them
Fabio,
up.
You are speaking my fucking language. It's like people will be talking to you, and you'll have this organized this last 10 years, right? It'll all have been paid for, and people will be like, "Well, what do you want? Sorted. But what would you like us to do with your body? It's all sorted. Don't worry." And then just this letter arrives at the door. Instruction number 1: please drive to this address.
I want that day to be remembered as a total pain in the ass.
Do you know what you should do? You should organize a double-decker bus and put a bar in it. Pay for that.
Well,
too.
yeah. Or
do that and make sure that Robbie's. You list on the thing that Robbie has to be the driver.
Well, what I could do is to actually find a route where the cars are not allowed, so they have to walk.
Oh, you motherfucker!
And actually to have to carry the casket. So the casket has to be cheap, but it has to be fully leaded. It's got to be fucking heavy.
And I guarantee you that your last 5 years that you're pretty much heading out. You'll be like, oh, you're going to die in 6 months. So, and you end up lasting for 5 years. You're going to eat like a motherfucker, so you double in size.
Okay. Yeah.
When you go off, it's going to go with a bang.
You thought you needed 4 people? You need 6. Carry my ass.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, my granddad planned out his own funeral because he knew he was going, and he may or may not have caused a few people to cry because as we were walking out of the crematorium, Fire by the Crazy World of Arthur Brown started playing. And then we got to the funeral, and one of his mates showed up dressed as the Grim Reaper in a costume that my granddad had bought him specifically to wear for that.
Oh. Well, you see, that's it. Planning ahead. I'm totally stealing Fabio's idea. 100%.
No. Sorry, I'm replying to Noxum. It's not my least favorite friends. They had to be my favorite friends carrying the coffee. They got to suffer more. And actually, I was thinking, a good thing to do would be to send everybody to the wrong place. So having the wake organized in a place, I'm not there. I'm somewhere else. Yeah.
No.
Fuck it,
This is a very Klingon style thing, It's I think they have pain sticks for their best friends for whenever they get married, and they spend like 3 days just beating the shit out of each other. And it's like, why am I getting beat up? Because you're my best friend. If I have to get married and go through this pain and suffering, so do you.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it memorable if you're gonna do it.
What?
Make it memorable if you're gonna do it.
No.
Yeah.
If I can't get permission. And I can't get my boat to float, so to speak. And for the Viking-style funeral, I'm stealing yours, Fabio. Ireland's small. I could definitely get away with that.
You know what would be the best thing ever? So it would be to find a cemetery which is on a hill, and make sure that the how do you call the car which carries the coffee, the hearse? Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure that the hearse breaks down.
In all seriousness, for my granddad's funeral, there was supposed to be a car that would turn up for my auntie, who 9 months later then did die. I've discussed this before about her death and stuff. Well, it wasn't maybe 9 months, I'm pulling the number out. It was quickly after. She was always a sick person. And there was supposed to be a car to pick her up, because from the level, sea level, so to speak, of where my nanny's house was, you would come out of my nanny's and you would go down a very small hill, maybe 20 yards. And then you would go left, you would go right, and then you're on the big long straight, and that big long straight's maybe a half mile, and then there's a fuck of a hill, and that
there you go. So this is where it has to break down. So they have to push the fucking car.
The car did not turn up. The car didn't turn up. My auntie had to fucking go and get one of the other people to walk back the whole fucking route to get a car at the house, to come back down again to pick her up, to get up and all. She went buck mad, ape shit at the people who were to hire the car. No, who were to turn up with the car. Yeah.
If I
I'll send you a picture of this hill on Google Maps. It's
fucking
45 degrees. It's fucking.
That is fucking fantastic. That's exactly.
I carried my nanny's fucking coffin up that fucking hill, man. It was fucking.
Right.
If I had the notice that he had, I think I would have hired a hearse to turn up at the house
To take him to the hospital.
A couple of times before to ask for him. Is he ready yet?
Is he ready yet? I'd have been stabbed. Harry would have laughed his balls off, but I'd have been probably stabbed in my sleep.
I wanted to put an audio recording in my coffin, so of me like, banging against the door or something. Let me out! Let me out!
Geo, go on ahead and chill. This is the longest goodbye ever. Yes, it is. We're definitely, yeah. But it's prevalent, you know, and it's better to end laughing than it is to end on crying our wee eyes out. And that's definitely what Harry would have wanted. Harry wants us to have fun. He wants it, you know. Man loved his fucking strong cider. I'm definitely gonna have to get some strong ciders for the next stream. But yeah, was always a good man, was always a good guy, and as I say, I've got some words I've written down. I'm just trying to fucking grammatize them and put music and images to them. That'll be for the I'll upload that to the Patreon channel. It'll probably turn up here, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, smoke that cigar, get a port, smoke that cigar.
I will fucking send you messages tomorrow because you're ahead of me in time. Only by what, 2 hours?
It's 2 o'clock here, so I think it's 1 hour.
1 hour.
Oh yeah, just an hour, man. Yeah, so I'll go to the off license tomorrow and I'll send you a picture of the fucking
cheers,
the port thing, and you can help me pick because I genuinely have no idea. Genuinely have no idea. And shout out to the Patreons and the people who contribute to the channel. I missed 2 days of work, and there's a person who was in the chat earlier that sent me €100. Now that is before they found out that I was going to be off work. That was just to help out with the channel and stuff like that, and help me out. And you know, that's really going to help me out now because of my swollen balls. I had to miss 2 days of work, and we have designated holidays. That's the only thing about work that I only get 2 days a year that I can pick. I get 2 weeks off in August. And a few other things, and but yeah, I missed out in 2 days of work, and that particular person's really gonna help out this week. It means that I don't miss out. It's not fucking, you know, 2 days wages, but it's really gonna help out, and Patreon.
So now, hold on a second. That person is pissed because you missed 2 days of work.
No, that person sent me €100.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
just before
gotcha.
I actually. Before we found out that this was happening, they sent it to me, and then this happened. So I've had that in a back pocket, so to speak, and it's really gonna help. In saying that, when they asked for my PayPal, I sent them Robert, and then the rest of the email instead of Robbie and the rest of the email, because I was giving them my private one. Because if you get the private one, it's a friend, you know, and you don't lose anything on fees with fucking stupid PayPal. And he sent it to me, and as soon as he sent it, and he went, right, go check it. I looked at it and went, oh fuck, I typed Robert instead of Robbie. Oh shit. And he went, go and try and get the email, because he'd sent the money to the wrong one, due to my fault. And I went and tried to get the email, and some fucker already had it, and I was like, oh no man, it's unavailable, can't get it. I goes, but if you click this, you can get it back. And he went into the settings and looked back, and he got to get the money back. So that was good. He hated me for all of 3 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes, maybe 6. But I was an asshole for that 6 minutes for not knowing how to fucking type my own email that I've had, 6 years, 7 years. But shout out to that particular person. I don't want to say their name unless they're comfortable with it, and I haven't had permission from them. But they've been supporting the channel from the very, very start. They've given me some really, really good advice, and they've been there just to fucking listen to me talk shit, you know. That €100 aside, they've been there some nights just to talk shit. They're in the same time zone as yourself, man. Nice Europeans. Speaking it true, speaking it honest as well. No bullshit. It's the way it is, fucking deal with it. I think he's of your same age as well. So there's an awful lot of honesty. Maybe another reason why I like you. God knows why I like you. Something about the only person, and he's fictional, so we're fucked.
I was going to say, does he? I thought he was out.
But thanks to Stephen. No, we are going to write up now. Thanks to Stephen. Oh, did I just see? Oh, lost it. Sorry, chat's gone. Forget about it. Oh, that's annoying me now. Thanks to Stephen. Oh, did I just see? Oh, lost it. Sorry, chat's gone. Forget about it. That's annoying me now. 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 That's annoying me I had something to say from the chat, and the chat moved just as I was going to say it. Doesn't matter. Forget about it. Thanks to Stephen, who was here at the start, and for a wee while before it. Thanks to Dave for jumping in. Thanks to Fabio. Thanks to Sam. Thanks to Crafty. Have I forgot anyone?
Junkshop.
Junkshop. Yes, he popped out randomly without saying goodbye.
Yeah, you forgot these nuts.
These nuts. These nuts.
Yeah.
Sam.
Sam. GeoSam was also here for a while as well. Yeah. Hug the people closest to you. Make sure the people that you love know that you love them. And even if they tell you to go fuck yourself, that doesn't fucking matter. Just
or be an asshole so they won't feel
but then
pain
it
when you die.
backfires, man, because you know you've been an asshole your entire life, and you know I still like you.
Yeah, that's I consider that a failure. You're right.
No, it's because I agree with you. I think it's because we're both assholes. Like I've been starting to use this last maybe 2 weeks or so now on the channel and stuff. But I'm not an asshole. I just sound like one.
Yeah.
You are actually an asshole, but that's
yeah.
No, this is why I like you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm proud of it.
I think you should get tested. I think you might actually be one.
Fucking door opens. There's a ghost. No, it's just the dog.
See?
It's just the dog. There's an asshole in here. Right? Yeah.
something. Checkmate atheists.
Lots of love to everybody. Thank you very much for all turning up. Thank you for everybody still here in the panel. The only thing I have to say is remember what Elena said. It's, I have her. Find someone close to you. And Fabio's an asshole. Peace out, people. Oh, think for yourself. Tagline of the channel and all that shit. Yeah.
Listen to him. Do what he says.
Are we live? Are we live? Where's the outro? Where's the outro in this list? I fucking lost the outro. Seriously, the outro's been deleted? Where the fuck's the outro?
Yeah, Noxum says in the form of a list of grievances.
In the form of a list of... I...
No, it's alright. I'm very strong.